Exit 6 on right.
On day 3, we'll go to the Phoenix Zoo, and then we'll go to the archaeological site at Pueblo Grande to see the Pueblo there, and then go see the Deborah habitat at Apache Junction. Next, we'll be visiting Pueblo Grande Archaeological Park. This is the major pueblo of the Hohokam Indians in this area. The Hohokam were an advanced culture with much art work and carvings into the rocks, and also they had much pottery and tools that are highly decorated by their artisans. There's a Hohokam village here from the time of the fall of Rome in 450 to 1450, the coming of Columbus, with about 1,000 people. They farmed the desert extensively and had many irrigation canals. They raised corn, beans, squash, over thousands of acres in this area. They raised cotton for clothes and had beautiful pottery and even toys that they could play with. The Hohokam civilization spread over most of southern Arizona, with Pueblo Grande being one of the major sites. And you can see it had many canals coming off the Salt River here where they irrigated, and it's the center of a large complex. The mound itself had many homes, adobe homes on top of it, and you can see the irrigation and Salt River in the distance and see how they might have lived in this area that we're about to explore. Not a whole lot is left right now. Just the mound has been left and the foundations of some of the walls around it, as you can see from here. We'll be following a path through this area. You can see this was a very intricate place at one time, and it was centered around the Salt River and its tributaries. This is the southwest corner, as you can see here, of the Indian Mound. The mound was 150 feet by 300 feet, about the size of a football field, and its platform was 25 feet high above the surrounding area. You can see from this picture how they built it up one stone after another. They diverted the Salt River into canals to water their crops, and they farmed here for almost 1,000 years. At one end of the compound was the observatory, where they seemed to have stared at the stars and tried to understand them better. We now look from one end of the platform and zoom out to the other end of the platform to show you how large it is. At the other end of the compound was what's become known as the maze. It was an area of tall buildings with limited access to get from one to the other. As you can see from this picture, many of the rooms in this maze area didn't have any roofs on them. And then down below the platform were more homes and houses. And in fact, an entire suburb extended in every direction from the mound itself. Some of the rooms had special functions and others didn't. It kind of depended upon what each room did. Here's a room for cooking. Another room for cooking, with many fire pits. And as you can see, the city extended from many directions as suburbs. The first homes in the suburbs were pit homes like these that would have a fire pit in the middle and then a riser where they would enter in, and they would have looked similar to this. The modern day constructions are a little bit higher than they would have been due to modern building codes. In the second phase of construction, adobe compounds were used in the suburbs to house family units. They were usually surrounded by a wall, and they usually had 17 or so rooms inside them. Here you can see inside one of those rooms what it might have looked like, and what it might have looked like when they were actually living in these houses. You can see the veranda that would be used for various activities and to keep in the cool. The Hohokam Indians played some kind of ball game. We're not really sure how it was played, maybe kicking like soccer into the goals on the ends. We're not totally sure, but they seem to have disappeared about 1450 after Columbus discovers America and the Pima Indians move in. They had an irrigation system and a garden system here, and Gava was roasted in the communal ovens. History tells us that the Salt River Mound here at Pueblo Grande was the last of the Indian mounds to fall to the Pima Indians as they moved in. Now time to head out and explore Apache Junction, native habitat of Deborah the Explorer as she grew up. We even find a trailer park where Deborah the Explorer might have started her exploring on a bicycle here in Arizona in the early parts of her life. And this, of course, brings us to the end of this day 3.